good afternoon. It is really great to see everybody here today. It's exciting. It is wonderful. It is heartwarming. It is all of those things that a graduation for drug court should be. It's exciting because it's our 25th year of doing these. And having been there at ground zero when we started, I'm especially pleased to see all of the people who were instrumental in getting that done, because there are many people here today that you're going to hear from. Without them, we wouldn't be here in this big room celebrating our 25th graduation. There are some other folks that I want to acknowledge. Chief Jeremy Thompson from Elizabethtown Police Department are here, along with Jailer Josh Lindblom, I believe is present as well. There he is. Our coroner, Pat Elmore, is also present today. We appreciate those folks being here. I started with them because that's how our process starts. Law enforcement from the get-go bought in to the drug court and specialty court programs. And without them, and without their buy-in, many of our participants wouldn't be here, both literally and figuratively, because without an arrest, they wouldn't be here at all. So we always invite officers to come, who are the arresting officers, and oftentimes they get to see the fruits of their labor as well as the labor of the person that they arrested. So we appreciate them being here today. Secondly, our prosecutors. You're going to hear from both of them today, but Commonwealth Attorney Shane Young and his staff are present, along with County Attorney Jenny Oldham, who are also present today with their staff. And without prosecutors also being on board, treatment court doesn't work. And we are blessed in our community to have prosecutors who are tough, but they temper that with mercy, and so that's a great combination to have. I want to also acknowledge that Judge Executive Keith Tall is here, along with Magistrates Saltzman, Whitehead, Clem, and E.G. Thompson. We appreciate them, especially from the very beginning. They have been not only sources of encouragement as we went through the process, but they also put, they say when you put your time and treasure into something, it means something to you. This particular case, they also put their treasure in. And the way that we were able to grow the program was because they were willing to put up money that helped us. So we were always one person ahead of the game because we were able to hire someone. County would pay for them, and then they go on to the state, and we just continue to do that. So we appreciate that commitment to the community. I believe Hardin County Clerk Brian Smith is also present today. Thank you for being here. From Radcliffe, we have council members Jerry Brown and Kim Thompson are present. We appreciate their support as well. Mayor Jeff Gregory and Councilman Tony Bishop are also present from the city of Elizabethtown, and we appreciate them as well. There was also a time when the city of Elizabethtown and has continued through ABC money to help support the drug court program. And so again, time and treasure are something that are really important, and we appreciate them as well. We also have graduates, and that's going to be, we're going to do a little self-promoting because it is our 25th year, and I guess we've earned that perhaps. But today is really about the graduates. And so it's our biggest, I believe, graduation. And we're excited that we had to leave the courthouse to do it, because that means, one of the mottos of drug court is drug court works. And I think this is a living testament to the fact that drug court really does work. But I also want to thank the members of the community. You bought in, like many of us did. And so without community support, without the people who are present here today, day to day, living with graduates and participants, with Communicare or with the Administrative Office of the Courts, because we have several folks from Frankfurt who are also present here today, and we appreciate them being here as well. But it's members of Hardin, members of the community of Hardin County that really make the program, because you wanted the program. When we came and talked to you about it, whether it was at Optimist Club or Lions Club or wherever it was, there was always a positive response. And whenever we've asked the community for anything, you all have stepped up. So we're going to give everybody a hand right now. All right, I think Judge Shoemate is going to come up next, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's happened over the years.
Well, February 14th of 1999 was a very special Valentine's Day for the Hardin County court system. Under a federal grant that was administered by the National Association of Drug Court Professionals, Hardin County Drug Court began what is now a 25-year journey to date. I had the opportunity to work with an amazing team of individuals from our community to place in systems that allowed individuals that were charged at that time with misdemeanor criminal offenses to choose a commitment to treatment instead of jail. And the intensive program began in a partnership with Communicare for treatment services and coordination with the late Diane Cavanaugh Hopkins as the Communicare employee that was tasked to drug court. Well, the work we did as a team in implementing drug court in Hardin County was quite novel at the time. Back then, each county had to seek out its own treatment partnerships and create intricate programs from nothing. Looking back at the barriers we overcame and the successes that we had along the way really makes you appreciate what we now have is the statewide Kentucky Court of Justice Office of Specialty Courts and the oversight and administration that they give to us. So we're very thankful that our state, it is not common across the nation, but that our state has taken on that overreaching umbrella. Well, the original concept came from the community in a Vision 2000 program, a community work as a grassroots idea that was spearheaded from our chambers of commerce. Well, the Vision 2000 committee, including Miss Linda Funk, Lynn Taylor Long, and Cindy Barker, to name a few, pitched the idea to bring a drug court to Hardin County. And it landed in my lap at that time as a judge who was simply willing to listen. Well, at that time, Jefferson County had established a local court, but frankly, no one down here had even heard about it yet. It was that new. Our treatment providers partnered with court sessions that was just not part of the process we'd ever heard of. We had to envision what it might look like. We had to garner support from the bench and from the bar and from the community, and to seek funding because there was none. Long hours on Saturday mornings and evenings, gathering data, drafting and redrafting grant proposals finally paid off. The work of drug court has always been collaborative work. And practicing attorneys Mike Moulton, Lynn Long, and Steve Merkin were on the original planning committee with now retired Judge Ken Howard, the county attorney. And the county attorney's office spearheaded the grant writing project and became the local governmental entity to be able to have a grant to start our program work. Well, Judge John Simcoe at that time was an assistant county attorney, and Jeff England as our Commonwealth attorney were also a part of that planning team. The evaluation partnership was with ECC, because it really was ECC back then, and Miss Diane Owsley was a part of that group. And the treatment component was overseen in our first group with Cindy Barker and then with Terry Reams coming on as a part of that program. So we are so pleased today that we could gather together some of the original pioneers of the program and those who've shaped it along the way to share some of their thoughts and perspectives. So please, as I call your name, come and join our timeline as we relive the building of what is now a 3-part program and the overlapping timelines of the implementation and the work that we're doing. So we're going to begin with some of our original planning partners, and attorney Lynn Taylor Long was a part of that initial Vision 2000 group. So Ms. Lynn, if you would come and join.
I attended Vision 2000 in 1998. The group met several times, spearheaded by Linda Funk. and several others. The goal was to come together with ideas for the future of Elizabethtown and Hardin County. At one of the meetings, I was lucky enough to sit by a phenomenal person named Cindy Barker. Cindy was the director of Communicare at that time. She was heavily involved in substance abuse treatment and had learned at one of her conferences about drug courts in other states. She believed this should be part of Vision 2000. I agreed. The more we talked, the more excited we became. We began to reach out to various resources in the community. We learned about the initial grant to establish a drug court, and from there realized in order to make drug court happen, key players needed to be convinced of the benefits of a drug court in our community. Cindy and I started contacting those key players who were required in order to apply for the grant. Many professionals in the legal field recognized the benefit immediately. Some were a little hesitant. This is when my law partner, Mike Moulton, became involved because he was president of the local Hardin County Bar Association. We needed him to convince local attorneys of the benefit and get the support of the Bar Association behind us. Cindy contacted her key players in the drug treatment community. Our last player that was very important to our grant was Diane Owsley from ECC. We had to have Diane to help with statistical data. Cindy and I talked to her, went to her office at the community college at the 9th hour prior to the grant application deadline, and she was immediately on board. Cindy and Diane helped me with the grant writing, and we sought input from others who showed interest in establishing a drug court. It took everyone. Lots of meetings, lots of planning, and vision to bring the program to reality. And it makes my heart sing to see so many people here who have supported drug court. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll let you take that one. As Lynn said, when the planning team was being formed in 1998, it was important that both prosecutors and defense attorneys shape the program in such a way that it could be supported by both sides. Mike Moulton began with that link to the local bar association.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As Lynn said, she approached me, and I was at that time head of the Hardin County Bar Association, and thought it was a great idea. I did as well. We started talking about it during the Bar Association. We had a few vociferous type of exchanges during the bar meeting, but we finally came to the realization that we needed it. And we went forward with trying to get the initial grant started. I know that Lynn was doing a lot of that, along with Cindy Barker, and in the office, at the county attorney's office, Judge Simcoe, Judge Shoemate, spent many Saturdays there doing that. Eventually the proposal was presented, and we were lucky. But eventually the drug court professionals provided us a grant. The purpose of the one-year grant was just to learn what was going on, because like Judge Shoemate said, that was new to all of us. We didn't have any idea what we were really getting into, but we knew, or we felt that it needed to be that way. I remember that one of the first things that we did was Judge Shoemate and I went to New York to see the operation of the drug court in Manhattan and Brooklyn boroughs. That was kind of an exciting trip, but also for both of us, it's kind of a sad trip, because that was just prior to the 9/11. We went up to the towers and viewed New York, and shortly thereafter was when we had that 9/11-2001 incident, and the towers came down. We also went to a drug court seminar put on by the AOC in Lexington. I remember Judge Simcoe was there, Judge Shoemate was there, Bryce, her husband, was there for law enforcement. Several other people were there with us at that AOC conference. After that, we found out that we did in fact get the grant, and we started putting that together, and we went on a couple trips to learn a little bit more. A lot of us went to San Diego initially. Judge Shoemate, Judge Simcoe, I think the prosecutor at that time, Jeff England. Not sure who all went, but I know that we went, and we learned quite a bit at that time.
Lynn was there.
Sorry?
Lynn was there. She was very
Lynn
sick.
was there. Lynn was there, was kind of ill. she was sick during that period of time, but she did go with us. After we went to San Diego, there was a Miami National Conference for Drug Courts. That was one of the first ones, and I know a whole group of us went down there, and some of us even went to Mexico, didn't we, Judge? So I know that that was a good trip, and we learned quite a bit. After we went through that first year, which with some trial and error, it was decided that this is something we need to move forward with, and we did. And at that point in time, things started rolling, and we knew what we needed to do to get more money, and that's what happened. And with Judge Shoemate and the rest of the county officials, county judges, all pushing, we were able to move forward.
Well, I recently had the chance to catch up with attorney Steve Merkin. He was a former local defense attorney who's now semi-retired and practicing as a public defender up in New Jersey. And I want to thank him for his initial push for drug court. And when asked for comments, Steve had these memories to share. He said he began with the 1999 crew. He said, "I had long thought that addressing addiction solely through the traditional criminal justice approach amounted to trying to pound square pegs into round holes." If you know Steve Merkin, you can hear him say that. "With little way in the positive outcomes for anyone." So, when Mike Moulton contacted me in 1999 and said that there was a drug court planning committee and that a public defender ought to be on it, I was happy to join and participate. In the end, Steve says, my contributions were modest compared to so many others quoted here, but from the beginning, it was clear that the Hardin County Drug Court could and would save lives, and I'm happy to have some role in its early stages. I promised Steve that we would share those comments since it was a little long to travel, but I'm really thankful for the roles that we played at that time. Well, the treatment court can only succeed if it has good treatment partners in the community. Our local community-based mental health and substance abuse provider was and is CommuniCare, and we are grateful for the willingness of their leadership to partner with our program. While we've grown many more local providers now, CommuniCare was our first and our longest supporter. Terry Reams was with CommuniCare at the time and began partnering with us in the early days. Terry?
In 1999, I was honored to be invited to the drug court team, and it was after they got to go to all of the great trips that they went on. I've since retired from CommuniCare, but in the beginning I had been hired as their first alcohol and drug program therapist. That was back in the mid-1980s. And in the late 80s, Kentucky began recognizing the role of treatment in cases of substance-related crimes. Started DUI offender programs at CommuniCare, and they had to be assessed for education and treatment needs. In the latter half of the 1990s, Louisville started the first, what we called then the drug court in Kentucky, and modeled it after the one they mentioned in Miami, Florida. One of my former coworkers was Louisville's first drug court administrator, and she invited me to sit in on a session, and I was very impressed, and I shared it with my supervisor, Cindy Barker at the time, and coworkers, what I had learned. In 1999, Cindy had the pleasure of attending all the training events, and I became part of the drug court team when I became the alcohol and drug program director. As the treatment program representative at the time, I was looking forward to the development of this aspect of integrated services because individuals need both substance use treatment and a judicial system that supports and supervises treatment efforts. It's hard to recover without that support. I had a connection with Dr. Diane Owsley at ECC, and I recommended she be asked to provide the evaluation on the program during this development, and I'm probably still in trouble for this. And she admitted to that earlier when I saw her. In a final note, I wish to emphasize that the treatment court judges and the prosecuting and defense attorneys, police agencies, detention facilities, treatment providers, and support agencies and groups working together are what, in their integrated efforts, makes this approach so successful. Thank you.
I remember early on, Cindy Barker liked to say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. She said, we would say this in treatment all the time. She said, but drug court can make them really thirsty. As Terry mentioned, we roped in Diane Owsley from ECC to be our data and statistic guru for our grant proposals. She graciously accepted, and we are forever grateful, as none of us on the planning team had the credentials or the desire to tackle all the data that we needed to apply and get funding. So, Ms. Diane, thank you for joining us.
The invitation to participate as part of an evaluation process for the Drug Court Initiative designed to aid individuals and help our community in 1999 was indeed an honor for me. I remember at the time being very impressed with the dedication of the court and treatment staff who were a part of the venture of developing the drug court program. I recall the workshops introducing members of the committee to the goals of drug court. I reflect on the many meetings attended by the initial members of the committee focused on the organization and the structure of the drug court in Hardin County. And I remember visiting the courtrooms where very dedicated judges, attorneys, and treatment personnel collaborated on treatment programs to benefit individuals with drug dependency. I remember the professionalism and determination and the sincere desire to help those needing assistance. I played a minor role as an evaluator in a very important program in our community, a program that has benefited and is benefiting not only specific individuals striving to overcome drug dependency, but also our whole community. I experience an overwhelming sense of gratification when I read about or observe the continued success of the dedicated judges, attorneys, treatment personnel, and the participants associated with drug court.
Well, in 2000, the drug court implementation money came through, and Ms. Diane Cavanaugh Hopkins, Miss Diane, as her participants came to know and love her, moved from CommuniCare to become a court employee and the coordinator of the Hardin County Drug Program, where she served until her medical retirement in 2018. Ms. Diane was the heartbeat of the program for almost 20 years. Along the way, many lives were touched and many more completely changed by their association with drug court as participants, families, case managers, and judges. With the success of the initial grant program, drug court has seen expansion over the years, and we now call ourselves treatment court. In 2000, Judge John Simcoe came to the district bench and added a second division of misdemeanor court. Judge Kelly Easton took on the first felony components in 2002 as circuit judge, followed by then Judge Ken Howard in 2008 as he left the county attorney's office and joined the circuit bench. It's been exciting to watch each of the judges that come to the bench to embrace treatment court model and make each division their own. A second division of drug court was started by Judge John Simcoe. So Judge Simcoe has the unique perspective of being on the initial team as an assistant county attorney, and then as a district court judge, and now as a circuit court, drug court, and mental health court judge. Judge Simcoe, would you share some thoughts?
I promise we don't wear these robes in public all the time. You will not find me at Lakers Drive-In in the robe. I had the opportunity as an assistant county attorney under Ken Howard to be on the original planning team back in 1998. My desire for something different to begin treatment court work stemmed from the revolving door of defendants I saw as a criminal prosecutor. I knew after prosecuting 3 generations of one family for drug-related issues that we had to think outside the box, or that cycle would never be broken. Treatment court became that vehicle for so many families to do just that. Once I came to the district bench in 2000, I began to be a part of the growing district court, drug court program so that we could open both a Radcliffe and Elizabethtown divisions, back when we had court in Radcliffe, much lamented. I'm proud of many of the graduates who have gone on to become productive members of the community, many of them who are here with us today. We appreciate them being here and sharing this 25th anniversary with us. And Diane is watching down, without a doubt.
In 2002, Judge Kelly Easton came to the circuit bench and immediately took on the mantle of a circuit court drug court judge. His determination to lead our venture into the next treatment court, mental health treatment court. Still partnering with CommuniCare, new grants were obtained, and our second branch of the treatment court began to take root. Judge Easton has since left the circuit bench, and we're pleased to have with us today our Judge of the Court of Appeals, Kelly Mark Easton.
Well, having served as a drug court judge since 2002, I could see firsthand the importance of linking treatment with criminal justice. And so in 2009, after years of recognizing the need for a new subset of defendants, because like that of drug addiction, and this was due to the often overlapping and undertreated mental health components that led to conduct resulting in criminal charges. And so we then took the next step and were successful in launching the mental health court. And much like drug court, mental health court saw a need and continues to see that need and applies treatment and oversight and drug screens and seeks stability. In 2012, Judge Simcoe came alongside and added a second mental health court docket, bringing us to 2 dockets of just mental health components. It was difficult to leave behind the direct work of treatment court when I left for the Court of Appeals in 2022. What you're seeing today, a graduation like this, is, believe me, one of the highlights of what judges get to do and to see success when we often don't get to see success. And so the challenge was then and still remains finding those individuals, many of them graduating today, whose motivation for their contact with the criminal justice system was due to addiction or to mental illness or both, as opposed to some unrepentant criminal thinking. So as these programs have expanded, we have learned how to help those who really want to change to develop by giving them the tools for that change and to maintain a new way of life. There is nothing more satisfying for a judge, perhaps weary of the individual failures that they may see in the criminal justice system, than to listen to those graduating from a treatment court who have a new lease of life, which they have built for themselves. Not everyone will succeed, but the success rate is far higher than for those who do not participate in treatment court programs. Even one life really changed by such a program is enough justification for that program. Thank you.
Well, our original ties to CommuniCare grew when our treatment courts expanded into mental health court. And Stephen Hill of CommuniCare was there from the beginning, molding the partnership of mental health court. Does Stephen get to be with us? From the very beginning, these are his words. He said the mental health court was a collaboration between the justice system and community mental health. Judge Kelly Mark Easton approached CommuniCare about applying for a grant from the Department of Corrections to start this new treatment program. Through the dedication of Judge Easton and the hard work of many other people, the Hardin County Mental Health Court was established as only the second of its kind in the state at that time. The court then established a record of providing a great service to the community and to the defendants seeking treatment for their mental illness. And we're very thankful to Stephen for his continued work to date in the work that is our mental health court. Well, peeling back to the very first dates in the Vision 2000 group, we knew that drug court could not be a reality without a fiscal agent. Someone to manage the funds, being willing to keep all the financial reporting for grant work. So Lynn Long and Cindy Barker and Linda Funk contacted our county attorney then, who graciously saw the need and was interested in solutions. So then county attorney is now retired circuit judge Ken Howard. Would you like to share some thoughts?
For 17 years as the Hardin County Attorney, beginning back with that planning committee in 1998, I was part of a team that developed and implemented prosecutorial systems for tens of thousands of people. In 2007, I was presented with a unique opportunity to become a circuit judge. And perhaps the main deciding factor in my decision to seek a circuit judgeship was the opportunity to participate in drug court. As a felony drug court judge, I was able to collaborate as part of a team in helping on an individual basis as opposed to program responsibilities for thousands. Thus began a challenging 13-year journey as part of the Thursday Lunch Group, which was about 30 people every Thursday who met at lunch but never ate lunch. One of the highlights of participating in drug court came at my church when an individual commented that she never thought she would see the day that the person, that was me, who sentenced her to prison would serve her communion. Remember, we are all just walking each other home.
Judge Shaw has been back at the courthouse doing dockets so we could be here. Did Judge Shaw get in here yet? We're going to take her out of order as soon as she's here. If she weren't doing the dockets, we couldn't get all of us here. So she's doing the jobs of a bunch of us today. So we'll get back to her in just a few moments. We've been very fortunate in our community to have judges who truly have a heart for others and a mission for treatment courts. Our judges train regularly to hone their skills and keep abreast of the trends in addiction and mental health treatment. And as the years have passed by and careers have changed, new judges have been added to the local bench and, of course, then to the treatment court program. We're very thankful that our judges freely volunteer their time to make our program so successful. I want to say that again. They volunteer their time to do this program. If it weren't for the willingness of the judges to work for these tasks without pay, we wouldn't have a treatment court. In the last 3 years, 2 of our judges have changed roles, and we're blessed to have Judges Shaw and Ashlock as a part of our treatment court team. And we'll grab Judge Shaw as soon as she slips in. But in the meantime, I want to share that it's important that when new judges come to the bench, they cannot, or in my opinion, should not be required to be a part of a treatment court. It is only because they want to take on that responsibility. So it comes from the heart, and it requires one to make a decision to join and volunteer. And we're very excited that our newest circuit judge, Larry Ashlock, did just that. Judge Ashlock.
Thank you. Just briefly, after taking the bench last year in 2023, I assumed Judge Easton's division of his drug and mental health court. Working with our wonderful staff and our great participants, I have developed an appreciation for the power that the program does have. In not only benefiting that individual participant, which is amazing, but also trajectories of entire families. Because each participant's success does touch another, and many others in most situations. That, like a stone in the lake, that life ripple as it goes out can turn into a wave when that positive effect from that individual participant touches those others. And that could be a sibling, a spouse, a child, a parent, or a friend, that individual that we help and that they help themselves helps others. And that is what I've taken from my little over a year, is the power of this program. And I thank everyone who participates in it and everyone that has had any, even the slightest connection to it, because for someone that did not know what it was, that came into it just for the past year, it has been powerful for me as well. Thank you all.
Well, going back in our three parallels, oh, perfect timing. We're going to let Judge Shaw get robed up, and then she's going to come up here and jump us back in time a little bit. But in our three parallel timelines of our treatment court progress, in September 2013, we branched out into the new and the third arena for treatment courts and began working with local veterans organizations such as MOWW, that's represented here today, with our disabled American veterans, our American Legions across the area, to garner support for a veterans treatment court, to work with men and women who have served our military and now find themselves in courthouses facing criminal charges. Many have underlying issues of mental health, including post-traumatic stress disorder and the effects of traumatic brain injury, and often coupled with self-medication through alcohol or drugs. And as an Army brat myself, I hold it as an honor to serve as our VTC judge and work with our veterans in their road to stability. It's exciting to see our local retired military community come to the table and serve as mentors for the VTC to walk alongside the participants and show them that this community is here for veterans. Two of our oldest mentors started at the very beginning in 2013 and have been there essentially every Thursday for almost 11 years to be with us to mentor. And they've reached out within their community. Command Sergeant Majors retired Alonzo Jones and Archie Mack have been there from day one. And each had a responsibility of family outside. Al Jones said, "Judge, I'm sorry I can't be there. I have to be with my mother-in-law in Mississippi. She's 106. We've got some good stock. We tell you, if you live good, clean living, you can live a good, long, clean life. And so he's a wonderful example. And these are the words that came from Al I wanted to share. He said, "I had the privilege to begin with the VTC program and the creation of the Mentor Corps. He was a mentor coordinator from our inception from 2013 until 2023 and was known often to recite a poem to a participant called The Man in the Mirror, reminding them that they're accountable to themselves for life's choices. And to see a member of VTC meeting the requirements of the program and admitting to themselves that they made a mistake, which we all do, gives me the energy to once again stand shoulder to shoulder with them." Al says the program is not easy by any means, but those that finished stood tall and were not trying to fool that guy or lady in the mirror. So I want to jump back just for a second. I'm so glad you're here. We told them that you were conducting court, but that's true, yes?
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing that.
It was very much true, yes.
Very much true.
Yes, yes.
So I'm going to let you step in here
Okay,
and then
thank
step
you.
right beside.
I
Thank you. Good
apologize
timing.
for
Perfect
being
timing.
late. We tried every which way to try to manage our docket, and unfortunately, last night, way too many people had way too much fun at Super Bowl parties and made poor choices, and might in the future benefit from this wonderful, wonderful program. So they're facing the consequences today. But I was appointed to the District Court bench in April of 2021 and began my drug court journey immediately thereafter. The job of a District Court judge is incredibly hectic and fulfilling. However, I have found that my participating in drug court is by far the most rewarding. Every Thursday morning, I have the opportunity to sit down, slow down, and really get to know our participants. Sorry, I didn't expect this, but it's very meaningful. It is heartwarming to celebrate the successes as each makes their way through the program. It is a pleasure to work with the drug court staff. Each of them is passionate about helping our participants on their journey to sobriety. Drug court graduations are joyous. I highly appreciate and commend those who work so hard to put this incredible program in place. It has saved and improved countless lives.
Thank you. Well, the current Hardin County Attorney, Jenny Oldham, and the Commonwealth Attorney, Shane Young, have played a large role in our program, its referrals and its successes in these recent years. Shane and Jenny, we thank each of you for the support of your prosecutors and the faith that you have in this program. Your roles as the gatekeepers of the program make us stronger and make us focused on the right referrals getting into the right hands of participants. Shane Young is our elected Commonwealth Attorney, and his office prosecutes felony offenses occurring in Hardin County and has been successful in referring 19 of today's 20 graduates. And Mr. Shane Young, if you'd like to come and share.
Good afternoon. I'm Shane, and I became involved in drug court as a defense attorney. I was the one challenging drug court at the time, and I was invited into drug court by Miss Diane, who showed me the error of my ways. And once I became involved in it, I got to see the program actually work. The program worked, the program changed lives. Me and Jenny get to see people coming through the door at their lowest moment. And the ones who take advantage of this, at the end of the day, we see them in their finest hour. There's only two good things that happen at the courthouse: drug court graduations, or any treatment court graduation, and adoptions. And I can say this is by far the most successful and the best treatment option we have available. So thank you all.
Well, the Office of the Hardin County Attorney has continually been a support to our program, from referring cases to all 3 tracks of treatment court and assisting in obtaining local funding at different times, both from the City of E-Town's ABC Board and from the Hardin County Fiscal Court. Jenny Oldham and her district court prosecutors are all active in those monthly staffings and all the sessions of treatment court, and we appreciate all your support. Ms. Jenny.
I think I'd forgotten that Shane and I actually went to the Supreme Court on opposite sides over drug court. He was on the wrong side, but he won. When you peel back the onion of much of what we see in court and the people that we're prosecuting, we find that addiction's there. So as a prosecutor, it's our primary job to ensure public safety and provide accountability. But a good prosecutor also believes in redemption and recovery, and treatment court provides both an opportunity for that in appropriate cases for people who want to work their recovery within a system that will support them and hold them accountable. As a new assistant county attorney when the program began in 1998, until now as county attorney, I do believe that treatment court works, and I'm pleased to be a part of it.
Over the years, we've had many, many exceptional employees to work within our program. There is no way that we could possibly bring all of them back here to share with you today, but we wanted to give you a sampling of what some of those might be so you could hear some of the voices of change within the program. When we first began, we hired and maintained all the employees and payroll and training and offices, if you could call it that. When we first started, Miss Diane actually was squatting in a district court jury room, and we had a jury trial. We'd send her out in the hallway somewhere until it was time to come back again. But later, Kentucky was so fortunate to have our Supreme Court to create what we think of as the overreaching umbrella of the statewide Department of Drug Courts, now known as the Office of Specialty Courts, within the Kentucky Administrative Office of the Courts. As much as we will always love our local rule, we are appreciative of the hiring and the training and the support that comes from AOC and the caliber of employees that we've been able to hire locally. Well, Aaron Bohannon has a unique point of view with our treatment courts. I can remember Judge Simcoe and I advocating for his hiring with AOC and taunting what we now call lived experience. And thankfully, they took him on, and he has left his footprint on our program. Aaron went on to win national recognition for his heart for recovery, and he's now a local successful businessman. And Aaron, would you like to share a little?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's a privilege to be up here today, Sharon. I love drug court. In 2004, I began my career in treatment courts as a case manager. I had the pleasure to go on to serve as a program coordinator of both the Hardin County and the Bullitt County treatment courts before leaving in 2022. I also got my start as a district court participant with Judge Shoemate in drug court. Drug court is hope and love in action. Drug court gave me the foundation and belief that I can achieve recovery and success in whatever path that I take. God has blessed me in the opportunities of drug court and its mission, in which I am a living testimony.
Hardin County has been blessed with many case managers and program directors who've shaped our success. Aaron, Patrick Markey, Chris McMillan, Drew Schaefer, Chamie Markey are all just a sampling of those. Patrick Markey came to us as a case manager with a strong background in recovery and attended law school while working for us.
Thank you, Judge Shoemate. My name is Patrick Markey. I am a former case manager. To briefly summarize and to put in perspective the growth of this program, when I began working for Hardin County Drug Court in October of 2007, the program consisted of 2 divisions of District Drug Court and 1 Circuit Division. I was privileged to work with the Honorable Ken Howard when he began a 2nd Circuit Division. So by the time I left Hardin County Drug Court to practice law at the end of July of 2015, the program consisted of District and Circuit Drug Court, District and Circuit Mental Health Court, and a Veterans Treatment Court docket. The program was no longer simply drug court, but had truly become Hardin County Specialty Courts. That type of growth and stability is a testament to the dedication of the great judges of Hardin County, our community leaders, the staff, and support from the Kentucky Administrative Office of the Courts. This is difficult work. It's challenging, and it's also rewarding. It can only be accomplished through teamwork and a shared commitment to improving lives through treatment and accountability. Our community has been fortunate to have leaders who believe that people can make positive changes. Thank you.
Well, Chris McMillan came to us with a heart for those in recovery, and Chris has often used his own history to show others the path to recovery and what can be accomplished. Chris, would you join us?
Thank you, Judge Shoemate. As a former case manager and the program coordinator from, I guess I should look at my notes, from 2013 to 2019, I saw many, many transformations in people. We all did. The basic text of Narcotics Anonymous uses this metaphor, open up like a flower in the sun. And, you know, when I think about that, I think about specialty court in a similar manner, because as staff, you know, we plant seeds and we nurture and water the plants that grow. And the greatest reward, I think, is watching the people that we've worked with open up like flowers in the sun. Serving as a regional specialist now, I've worked in a lot of specialty courts across the state. And it's not just because Hardin County is near and dear to my heart, but you know, I'm here to tell you this is a very, very strong program that has helped our community beyond measure. Thank you.
Well, Kyle Drew Schaefer is a current employee and one of our 2 recovery coordinators with Jennifer, matching recovery programs with individual participants. Drew volunteers in the local recovery community and has spent countless hours acting as a sounding board and a voice of wisdom for teen defendants in our teen court who may have been experimenting with drugs or alcohol. Drew is actively pursuing a strong alumni group for our courts. Drew, would you like to share?
Shine bright through the recovery community. When I felt alone, I felt like nobody would understand me. They loved me, they welcomed me in open arms, and for me, that's That's the beauty of recovery. You don't have to feel alone anymore. And that's my driving force today, is to make sure that people have that same love and experience that I had. And I'm going to get ready to be quiet, and I know people are going to be mad at me, especially the alumni that I invited. I said I wasn't going to do nothing. Please don't beat me up. If you are an alumni, just to show that this program works and continues to work, would you please very briefly raise your hand just so we can see the amount of alumni here in this room.
Well, someone has to corral all the work and the talent of the staff and to oversee all three programs as a whole. And for us currently, that is Miss Ann Chamey Markey. So thank you, Chamey, for keeping our vision and keeping us on track. And would you like to share some of our historic numbers with us today?
As the current regional supervisor, part of my job is to oversee all three types of treatment courts and to keep up with our participants and their accomplishments. In 25 years, the numbers are impressive. We have been able to serve 1,967 people.
Say that again.
1,967 people. Since 1999, participants have paid over $800,000 in court obligations and have completed 56,735 hours of community service. Babies born during treatment court are always a celebration as a pure example of clean and sober living. And I am happy to say there have been 47 babies born drug-free since 1999. We currently have 156 participants throughout all three programs and are one of the biggest in the state.
Those statistics are not just numbers, but they are representative of lives that have been changed. Several graduates along the way have not only created a new life for themselves, but have dedicated their lives to that fresh start by making changes in the lives of others, by chairing meetings, by sponsoring, even pursuing education and careers in addiction treatment. You've met just a few today, and you have likely unknowingly met many along your ways and the paths in our community. But not satisfied to rest on past laurels, our program is ever looking and seeking to expand our work and our reach. Encouraging a strong alumni group of graduates who continue to support the program and the incoming participants has been long a dream of our judges. With special thanks to Drew and his unique role as alumni and case manager, our alumni group is taking root. We are hoping that of our 20 graduates today, that we will continue to stay plugged into meetings and plugged into the heart of our program by investing in the success of our new participants that come after you jump into alumni group. Also, Governor Beshear recently announced that Hardin County is now a recovery-ready community on behalf of the Office of Drug Control Policy. Hardin County was recognized at the Recovery Advocacy Day just a few days ago on Wednesday, February 7th at the Capitol, and was presented with an official certificate as the 10th community in our state to reach that distinction. The governor in the celebration day there of Hardin, McCracken, and Scott counties said, "Thank you to those counties for your unique approaches to addiction treatment while focusing on our youth. These counties, meaning Hardin, McCracken, and Scott, are rebuilding the lives because of their hard work. The Commonwealth is moving forward in creating a better Kentucky for future generations." I can just hear Governor saying that. Creating a better Kentucky for future generations. Well, looking in the not so distant future, Hardin County will be expanding into family treatment courts. Judge Dawn Blair, who is still back at the courthouse working the family court docket, recently applied for and received a grant through the Veterans of America to implement the court where parents and guardians who have lost their children or are at risk of losing their children to the state due to addiction or mental health issues can work a program of stability and recovery and perhaps regain custody of their children. Judge Blair is back working on those dockets even as we speak, and I know that she is excited about the new venture to strengthen and reunite families, and she and her planning team have been working tirelessly to bring that to vision, and she and Judge Hall will be carrying that vision forward. So back to the present. Our graduation today is going to celebrate 20 graduates leaving the courthouse with clean drug screens, clean records from the charges that brought them here, and with bright outlooks for their future. I want to extend my personal congratulations to those 20 individuals, to their family, to their support systems, and the folks that brought them here today, whether it was a law enforcement officer in the beginning or a spouse that drove them, whether it was a sponsor, whether it was someone who taught them a class along the way. Who would have imagined that a program that began as a spark of hope could ignite to make a difference in so many lives in our community? From the first trailblazers as the program was formed, through all the champions in the years along the way, this program has been formed and transformed by our community. Our legal community, our treatment community, our Hardin County government, and our community have all been instrumental in making this program a success. Well, I'm sure there are other judges across the state who are working in treatment courts that might disagree. I confidently believe that our Hardin County Treatment Court program represents the best of the best. Having the chance to look back and reminisce in preparation for today, I can honestly say I could never have imagined how important treatment courts could become to our community. I remember opening that first session in 1999 a little differently than our typical all rise from a bailiff, but rather we said, Happy Valentine's Day and welcome to drug court. Today, I say, welcome to graduation, happy 25th anniversary Hardin County Treatment Courts, and thank you for joining us. Before you step away, we're going to take one quick opportunity so we don't have to gather later for a photo. If you have acted on a planning team, Ms. Linda Funk, if you have been a part of a case manager, if you have worked in treatment courts in any way, come right, our current staff, get up here. We want to get a quick snapshot of all of you very quickly. Our secretaries that make this happen, Eddie, come on up here. We want to get a quick picture because we know that some of you are going to slip away before we get to all the rest of our graduation. This is a quick snapshot here to say, Ms. Melanie, prosecutors, Eric, get up here. Our bailiffs that make this work, come on up here. Josh, are you still here? VTC mentors, come on up, Bob. We can go in between, it's okay. We just want to get everybody here. I want to get my 98 up. I'm really excited about this. That's me. All right, everybody there? And that's all it took. Thank you all so much. What we're really here about?
Oh, and come, yes, and anybody who wants to take pictures with any one of us or any group of people or all our, okay, we need a picture of all our graduates. Yes, yes, absolutely. So after this, come up and take your pictures. But, you know, as those of you here from our community and representing our community, this is such an incredible program, and I am so proud to be a part of it, and I'm so grateful for it. And it is, as you heard everybody say today, this program has changed lives, and as you know, not only the lives of the graduates, but all their families and their loved ones, and particularly the children. And it's so great to hear the happy babies in the back and see this little one right here, and know that their lives have been impacted and their lives will be better, you know, for all of this. So thank you for all of you who made this program, built it, for those who've kept it going, for our wonderful team who are passionate and work every single day to make people's lives better. So thanks all of you. Thanks for coming. And yes, and our graduates, go up and take a picture.
So big quarter-century anniversary being celebrated here today. For those who don't know about your all's drug court program, just tell me a little bit about the work you all do and like how important this milestone is for you.
Well, Hardin County Treatment Courts began back in 1998 with, and exploration grant to find out, is there a need and how can we fulfill that need for drug use in our community and individuals who intersect that with the criminal justice system. And we all knew here locally that there was an issue that needed to have a new solution. And so we were able to maintain that early grant and get an implementation grant. In 1999 on Valentine's Day, we opened our first drug court session for district court. And today, after 25 years, we're celebrating. We have 2 district court judges that work. We have 2 circuit court judges that work with drug court. Then we have mental health court, and we have veterans treatment court. We want to believe that if you want the chance to change, that you have that opportunity to do so through Hardin County treatment courts.
So, do you think it's appropriate having this celebration today alongside a graduation ceremony?
I couldn't think of a better way to celebrate a milestone like a 25th anniversary than with a graduation. We didn't plan to see who would graduate. It was just, this is the cycle where it was. By happenstance, 20 graduates at once is our largest graduation yet. And that's just an exciting opportunity to say we are not done. We're moving forward. We're adding our family treatment courts. We're working with outside the criminal justice system. We're working with our assisted outpatient treatment for civil cases, as well as moving forward with all those opportunities for people. So I would say that graduation is the best way you can celebrate in a treatment court.
All right. So 25 years. At the time when this started, how common were drug court programs in Kentucky, and then how common are they here now?
Well, when we started our program, there was a Jefferson County drug court, but it was so new that we didn't even know it existed. So we actually began the process not because the court said it's an interesting thing, but because our community said we need to address this somewhere. And the best intersection is at the time when you're incarcerated or just charged to say life has to be different. It can't be this way anymore. So our community is the one who said we need to do this. Now in Kentucky, all 120 counties have a drug court program. So none of them are, in my opinion, as good as ours. We all believe that we have the best employees and we have the best support, and we just really feel strongly that this work has got many milestones still to be met.
So as one of the senior drug court programs in the state, what lessons would you all have to teach to the other, maybe the newer ones in the Commonwealth?
Don't give up learning. There is nothing that you can say, I rest on your laurels. There's always trends, there's always better ways of doing things in everything in life, and that is true as well when it comes to treatment courts. We always have to continue to learn, and we always have to continue to grow.
Okay, so obvious answer to this question, but it's an important one. I've done this, I've been in journalism for about 6 years now. This finds a way in literally every interview I've ever done. Why are you all doing this? Why is this important?
I would say the important work that we do is that it changes lives. You've heard it today through the graduation ceremony, not just the life of that one individual, but the ripple effect it has on families and on communities. One woman today said, I'm a sober mother, I'm a sober daughter, I'm a sober employee. I mean, every relationship that you have is affected if you have issues with mental health or drug abuse. And when you can become clean and sober and stable, it changes not only your family, but it changes your community. I can't think of any more important thing to do with my life than to make sure that these programs continue to prosper.
Okay, and one more question, and this is just so like any of our audience are familiar with drug court. How does it differ from other treatment programs?
Drug court is the intersection between a criminal justice case, a criminal charge, and a responsibility for treatment. If you are not successful in a treatment court program, you will be going to jail or prison. If you are successful, you get life back and you get charges expunged. So we don't talk just about clean drug tests, but clean criminal history and a clean slate to really get started in the future.
Okay, so wrapping up, do you have anything you'd like to add for me while I'm here?
Just thank you all to the community for supporting the program. Thank you to those in the media for helping to get the word out. If you listen carefully, the word in the jail is that treatment court is just out to get you. And unfortunately, if you don't do treatment court or you don't do treatment court successfully, it may feel like that. Because if you don't complete the program, you might be the very one in jail who's telling someone else it's not worth it. But the real word is the program is here to support the people in this community, to give you the opportunity for change, to give you the structure for change. We don't ask you ever to do it alone. All we ask is that you be open and honest with yourself and with the program and have a desire to do something different. We'll teach you what that is and how to do it. So I guess the best I can say is the hype is right if you're believing that it can be successful. The hype is wrong if you think it's here not to do good, because you can't come out of this program and be the same circumstances you were before. Life can be better. You can have peace. You can have success. You can have a life without drugs and alcohol. And drug court is here, treatment court is here to help make that happen. On a personal level for treatment court, my goal is to help implement the family treatment court in Hardin County and to make a stronger alumni program so that we can make sure that our graduates are giving back to other individuals that are in the program. Until you can see the success for yourself, you won't believe it. I always tell folks when they start, first you have to believe it's possible for someone, then you have to believe it's possible for you, and then you have to believe that you can actually do this. And having an alumni group where folks have done that for themselves makes it more real. When we started our graduations, we require phase 1 people to come watch a graduation, because if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, then you might believe it's real for you. So we have phase 1 folks here today so that they can see that. So my goal is a strong alumni group so that we can make sure that you have a better chance for success from the start.
So what I personally do for Hardin County as a recovery coordinator, I help facilitate either meetings, I help facilitate different various groups. I do a lot of outside referral sources. I also go into the jails to make sure that people who are being charged most of the time with some type of substance abuse criminal record, they may have a history of it. So we go in, we do an assessment, and we try to evaluate whether or not they'd be eligible for our program.
All right. What is your personal goal with drug court?
My personal goal for drug court really is, personally, I'm a graduate of drug court, and so my main goal is to make people feel A, loved, B, worthy, and like they have a fighting chance and they do matter in life. And the way that I do that is I just try to connect with them on a personal level. I try to get them to understand that they have made bad decisions, that they're not bad people. And I feel like the greatest influence for me that allows me to do that is the love of Christ that I have experienced. And I just try to turn around and let others experience that feeling of I'm not alone. I don't have to face life by myself anymore.
That was actually a really good answer. Would you mind sharing a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so how I guess, started my whole process of drug addiction even in itself, which led me to be able to use my pain and suffering to help somebody else. As a young kid, I had a lot of insecurities, so on and so forth, things that made me feel less than. And so grew up being a class clown, and eventually that wasn't enough, and so I was introduced to alcohol by my father. He was an alcoholic, and so having an alcoholic, I'm gonna say, environment, I knew that these things made you do things differently, act different, and so as I got a little bit older, I had friends who drank, and they influenced me just by doing it themselves, and I peer pressured myself into wanting to fit in. Because I never felt like I was a part of, and so I did things to feel a part of at times. And long story short, that led to drinking. Drinking eventually was enough. As I got older, I started smoking. Smoking went to pills, and it just continued to escalate. And before I knew it, I was constantly getting charges, constantly getting in trouble, thinking that I could change. But I didn't ever wanted to change today. I always waited to the next day, and of course, tomorrow never comes. And so my personal story is I got in enough trouble, and I had a consequence of 10 years in prison or to take drug court. And by the grace of God, I took drug court, and it was extremely hard, extremely, keeps you very busy, but it's definitely possible. And I think the biggest thing that made it possible was the community, community, the fellowship, the overall connection that a lot of us isolate from ourselves, you know. That's why we get high, because we feel like nobody understands what we're going through. Nobody can understand my hurt, my pain, and so rather than talk about it, I bottle it, stuff it up until it gets overbearing, and then that's when I get drunk or high. And so that's what drug court allowed me to be able to do, was they put me in a position to where I had to do these things. There was going to be an immediate consequence. And through that process, I felt and I found so many people who were just identical to me, you know, who had the same struggles. And that's 2012 was when I got into the program. And 2024, I've worked here since 2018, so it's been a blessing.
That's actually really impressive. And you mentioned how you had a lot of insecurities and a lot of doubt and issues in life. What would you say to someone who is looking at a bottle or looking at some pills? Instead of doing that, what could they do instead?
So I feel like that question is such a great question, because so many people don't understand that there A is help, but B, it's not just a moral problem. Just don't do it is what I hear all the time. Just want it enough, and if it was that easy, I'm a pretty smart person, you know, and so for me wanting it enough is not enough. It's being able to find the right help, being encouraged to speak on what's bothering you, to be encouraged to be made it more, I'm gonna say socially acceptable, really, that these things happen in life. We're taught in society to not talk about issues, because if I talk about issues that seems weak, then I'm a weak person, and then you can take advantage of me. And it's a complete opposite, because I have had so many struggles. I have, you know, issues with low self-esteem. I think, you know, I'm not tall enough, I'm not skinny enough, I'm not really a man, I'm not attractive, so on, you know, all these silly things. And because I have all of these things, I act the complete opposite rather than dealing with it. And so through that, it has allowed me to become more vulnerable to what you think of me. But once I understand how that these pains and struggles that I have gone through are really not something that can hinder me, and I talk about them, then it becomes my strength, and my strength becomes hope for somebody else. So that person who is dealing with that stuff, who is looking at some of these things, find out what the underlying issue is. Because drugs, alcohol, all these things, you're only masking a temporary solution to a permanent problem that's underlying, that is deeply rooted. It's like chopping down a weed. If all you do is get the surface level, it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. You got to get to the root, and so talk about it. You're not alone. That's my biggest thing, is talk about it.
Is there anything that you would like to say to the viewers in Hardin County?
You know, I guess my biggest thing to say to anybody is if you know somebody who's struggling, rather than looking at them like they just don't want to change. Sometimes people don't know how to change, and so A, to be supportive, but B, help support them in the right way. Don't enable them. Don't continue to just, you know, give them what they want. Love them, and sometimes love is doing the hard thing rather than the easy thing that they want. You know, so there's so many resources out there, and so if you know yourself, a loved one that's dealing with some of these things, there's the right help out there. And it's like the diabetic. If you give the diabetic cancer treatment, you're not actually helping the disease. And so the same thing with what we have, we call it disease of addiction. The right medicine is how you're going to help it. The wrong medicine is not doing anything for it.
And for everyone, that medicine might be different.
Absolutely, yes. All medicines come in different shapes, sizes, maybe therapy, may just be told you're loved, you are worthy, you're enough, talking about some of the problems. And it actually may be insulin, it may be chemotherapy, you know, but the right medicine for the right problem, that's the key. That's the key.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.